health and peace and happiness for everyone. Petach libi betoratecha ve'acharei mitzvotecha tirdof nafshi. Open my heart to your Torah, and my soul shall pursue your mitzvot. Parashat Titzave, Tafshin Pei Aleph. Does the Torah guide us to bring holiness into our lives by moving away from things that are just natural for human beings and performing acts that we are commanded to do by Hashem, or by finding Hashem within things that are natural to human beings? And why is Parashat Titzave, that tells us about the bgadim, the garments of the Kohanim and the Kohen Gadol, why will we find the answer to this question in Parashat Titzave? And we're also going to add a little something, but we'll leave that for the end. So when a person performs the mitzvah of tefillin, one is supposed to think about the tefillin all the time. I am wearing such a holy thing. It's like a jewel of Hashem on me, and I should be thinking about it all the time. And that's why sometimes in the tefillah you can see someone with tefillin touching the tefillin and kissing the hand that touched the tefillin to remind ourselves that I have the tefillin on me, to remind myself of that all the time. In the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, that is learned from the tzitz of the Kohen Gadol, the golden plate that the Kohen has on his forehead that says on it, Kodesh LaHashem. The Gemara says, if the tzitz that says on it, Shem Hashem, Hashem's name one time, you have to be aware of it all the time, then the tefillin that have many times the name of Hashem. Go and count. The tefillin have Shem Hashem within them more than 20 times in each part, in the tefillin shel yad and in the tefillin shel rosh. So certainly with tefillin, we have to remember that Hashem's presence is there, that we are with Hashem all the time, not to take our mind off of that even for one moment. The Rambam says, we see from here, that the tefillin, a daily mitzvah, is holier than the tzitz. The tzitz, we long for that. Beit HaMikdash, Kohen Gadol. When there's a Beit HaMikdash, we go up 3 times a year, Aliyah LaRegel. It seems so special. But the daily mitzvah of tefillin, says the Rambam, he doesn't stress this point, that it's a daily mitzvah in contrast to a very special mitzvah of one person in the Mikdash. But I'm saying that the daily mitzvah is holier than the mitzvah in Beit HaMikdash. Harav Kook, on the other hand, says that's not what it's about. The fact that the Kohen HaGadol wears this tzitz that only has Shem Hashem on it once is because the Kohen HaGadol, like Beit HaMikdash, is a center of holiness that concentrates the holiness that is all over the place within this one place, Beit HaMikdash, within this one, call it a garment of Kohen Gadol, the tzitz. Meaning, the Kedusha is really everywhere. But the Kohen HaGadol realizes this just from his being in Beit HaMikdash in holiness and closeness with Hashem, and with those eyes, he looks at the whole world and sees Hashem's presence and sees holiness in everything. But other people who live daily lives have to deal with all kinds of natural, human things, mundane things. We need Hashem to go with us. We need to take Hashem with us everywhere and to be reminded of Hashem's presence all the time. The basic mitzvah of tefillin, we put on tefillin only in tefillat shacharit, but that's not the halacha from the basis of the Torah. Really, we should be wearing the tefillin all the time. Just it also goes the other way. The tefillin are so holy, we're not on the level to be able to wear them all the time and realize that Hashem is with us in everything that we're doing. So Rav Kook says, regular people, we need the reminder of Hashem being with us all the time because we don't see it that way. We don't just see it that way from within ourselves. But really the Kohen HaGadol is on a higher level saying from the center of my emunah, from the center of my faith, from the Shekhinah being with me, from Hashem being with me and myself being with Hashem, I have that aspect of seeing Hashem's presence in everything that I will do. So Rav Kook is saying, on the one hand, it's a higher level to just have Shem Hashem once, and from that you go out, you don't even have to think about it all the time. It's just there in everything that you do. But let's be realistic. When we go out from the tefillah, from Mikdash Me'at, from Beit HaMikdash to life, we don't always remember that Hashem is there with us, and we need to be reminded of this all the time. So on the one hand, we have to perform mitzvot that remind us of Hashem's presence, and on the other hand, really, it's basically one center of if you are close with Hashem, if Hashem's presence is with you all the time, then you will remember, you will realize Hashem's presence in everything that you do, not only when you perform a mitzvah, but also that Hashem commanded, but naturally in everything that you do. And I said we would add one thing, because it is also Purim. And what is Purim about? Purim is the Chag that has the Megillah that doesn't have Hashem's name in it. It's there to tell us, even where you don't see Hashem, Hashem is there with us all the time. Purim is the day where the mitzvah is not to fast. Yom Kippur, you stop everything that is natural for human beings, and you find holiness by moving away from being just natural and spontaneous and directing everything that you do. And then Purim, you have at least a sip of wine, you act naturally, you eat, you are friendly with your friends, you spread love and good to everyone, and you have a feast. And you say, yes, Hashem is with us in everything that we do. So if we really, I think we have to put the two together. We have to have Yom Kippur telling us, don't just be spontaneous. You have to guide the way that you live, to really live according to what Hashem teaches us, to have holiness, to have Hashem's presence in your life and everything that you do. But really, it's there in everything. If we know to see it, to bring it out, and to act in a way that brings out the holiness that is there within every aspect of our lives, then we can put these two sides together. Shabbat Shalom, Purim Sameach.